This is Ben Carper. I am a Greenville, South Carolina native. I live in Congressional District 4, State Senate District 6, South Carolina House of Representatives District 22, Greenville County Council District 22. I've been reading an article on American energy policy. This article is written by Dr. Noah Robinson. This is the second installment of 3 that we will deal with today. The nuclear example. On the last program, I dealt with an overall survey of American energy policy and many of the problems, man-made factors, and man-made theories that have hindered the ability of the United States to produce from our abundant energy supply. One of the boogeymen is the boogeyman of nuclear energy. Another boogeyman is that of hydrocarbons. We don't want to release any carbon into the atmosphere. Take nuclear, for example. Shortly after the first self-sustaining nuclear reaction in 1942, engineers realized the value of harnessing nuclear fission for electrical power. Within 2 years, the first full-scale nuclear reactor was built. Nuclear engineers from the era assumed this technology would take over American electricity production. The Industrial Revolution was based mostly on hydrocarbon energy that was derived from the burning of coal and oil and natural gas, and some hydroelectricity from large dams and man-made lakes. It was assumed that nuclear would replace many of these already outdated energy sources back in 1942. But unfortunately, as so many things in the history of the United States, or for that matter, the history of the world, there were many factors that were used to frighten the public away from adopting nuclear power. The first of these fear mongers, and some of this can be seen in the science fiction movies of the 1940s and the 1950s, and that is that radiation is invisible and undetectable unless one has a Geiger counter. So it's very easy to lie about the matter of radiation or how much radiation is being released. Secondly, people were erroneously led to associate nuclear power with nuclear weapons. And at the end of World War II, we had the splitting of the atom and the hydrogen bombs that were dropped, and then the atomic bombs dropped, and nuclear power was associated with nuclear weapons. The third problem was that regulators began to base their policies on an outdated and disproven linear no-threshold model. And that simply claims that radiation, concentrations of nuclear radiation, are always dangerous and always deadly without regard. It's a zero-sum argument. Most people are not aware that they're bombarded with radiation every day from all kind of background sources. We have radiation emitting from the soil, radiation emitting from the food we eat. We even have radiation emitting from other human beings. And potassium in your body emits radiation, and potassium is vital and required for life. So the concentrations of radiation were easy to lie about and cause people to become frantically afraid, like they become frantically afraid of so many other things. The very small amounts of nuclear waste produced by the power plants were also used to demonize the technology, and yet all of this nuclear waste from more than 50 years of electricity production at nuclear plants fits very safely in a very, very small area of the nuclear plants. Furthermore, the Generation 4 nuclear power plants were running on Generation 3 now. The Generation 4 nuclear power plants are designed to specifically reuse this spent nuclear waste from older power plants as fuel, thus liquidating it altogether. As for safety, anytime you bring up nuclear power, the naysayers immediately bring up three accidents. Number one, 3 Mile Island, which happened in 1979, Chernobyl, which happened in 1986, and Fukushima, which happened in 2011. And they say, see, we can't have nuclear power. Look at these three power plants where we had the problem, the 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, and Fukushima. The problem is this: there are more than 90 nuclear power plants that are online right now producing nuclear power. We have 3 documented, recorded accidents at nuclear power plants since 1979. Will soon, 45 years, will soon be 50 years reaching into the past. Only 3 accidents. Why, that's a safer record than airliners flying at 30,000 feet with 300 to 400 passengers on them. No one died at 3 Mile Island. And if the question were asked to the average person, how many people died at 3 Mile Island, you would get some erroneous number of 1,000 to 5,000. No one died at 3 Mile Island. In Russia, one of the reasons that Chernobyl was as bad as it was, and the only people that died there were the firefighters working to contain the blaze on the day of the accident. And the reason is the Russians had put in no containment structure. The Soviets had a general contempt for life anyway, and there was no containment structure there. At Fukushima, 20,000 people died. Not one of them died as a result of the nuclear plant coming offline, but 20,000 people died in a 9.1 magnitude earthquake. The 9.1 magnitude earthquake caused a tsunami, and the tsunami destroyed the power plant. Radiation from Fukushima killed no one. None of the 20,000 people that died from radiation. The 20,000 people that died from the 9.1 magnitude earthquake. And we've not outlawed earthquakes or tsunamis in the world because we simply cannot. Long-term studies reveal that there is no observed incident of radiation-induced disease from any of these events. Today, about 90 reactors, down from more than 100 that were originally built, remain in operation in the United States. And these 90 nuclear power plants supply about 20% of the electricity demand in the United States. And the result of this unscrupulous fear-mongering on the part of vested interest, it's all about money. And if we build nuclear reactors and nuclear power plants, then we won't be able to sell solar panels. It's follow the money. It's all about money. So there's been a lot of erroneous fear-mongering and arguments that have made and have rejected the benefits of the most reliable, efficient, and economical energy source that is available on Earth today. The Palo Verde Generating Station in Maricopa County, Arizona, serves to illustrate the point. It includes 3 nuclear reactors. The site was designed for 10, but the anti-nuclear hysteria halted further construction. If those 10 reactors had been built in Oregon, where the author of this article originates, they could produce 20 times the power of the Hoover Dam and supply 150% of Oregon's electricity usage. They would have 100% power source to provide for their electrical needs, and then they could sell 50% to other states around the state of Oregon. Instead, politicians continue to promote the use of solar panels and wind turbines, which now cover vast tracts of Oregon's landscape. And all of this is because there is money to be made. There's nothing wrong with the nuclear power plants, nuclear power reactors. What an interesting thing it would be if you could build a miniature nuclear reactor to power your home. You would never have to pay on the power bill again. The increase from these renewable, quote unquote, renewable sources of power, solar panels and wind turbines, the increase in energy production is minuscule, the land waste is catastrophic, and the cost is astronomical. Let me say that again as we leave. The increase in energy production is minuscule, the land waste is catastrophic, and the cost is astronomical. In the next episode, I want to deal with hydrocarbons, the other boogeyman. This is Ben Carper, resident of Taylors, South Carolina, in Greenville County. May the Lord bless you until our next program.